Hi, welcome back to Step-by-Step GuitarTuition.com. This is the 7th lesson in the Step 1 module for improvers, and in this lesson we're going to build on the fingerstyle patterns that we looked at in the beginners module by introducing hammer-ons and pull-offs. If you haven't yet mastered those patterns, then I'd recommend going back to the beginners module for a recap, and don't forget to refer to your lesson notes for more information. I'll begin by using the very first fingerstyle pattern that I showed you in the beginners module, Step 1, Lesson 7, using the chords G, C and D. And if you remember, it went like something like this. Now I'm going to try and make that sound more interesting by adding on some hammer-ons and some pull-offs, and hopefully you'll hear the difference. Now remember, the secret to that pattern is keeping the steady bass line going with your thumb on the beats like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then plucking the top 3 strings, the first, second and third strings on the offbeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, so let's take a look at that in more detail. So starting with the G chord, start by plucking the 6th string with your thumb and then the top 3 strings, the D string with your thumb, top 3 strings, 6th string with your thumb, and then this time instead of plucking the D string, pluck the A string, lift your first finger off, hammer on, and then top 3. And then hammer on. Now let's move on to the C. Pluck the A string with your thumb, top 3 strings, the D string, then the top 3 again, A string with your thumb, top 3 strings, then lift your second finger off, pluck the D string, hammer on, top 3 strings. Lift your second finger off, pluck, hammer, top 3. And then the D chord, pluck the 4th string with your thumb, then the top 3 strings, then the 5th string with your thumb, top 3 again, 4th string, and then this time pluck the A string and hammer on to the 2nd fret with your 1st finger, and then the top 3 strings. Again, and then the hammer on. And then back to the C chord. 5th string with your thumb, and then the top 3 strings, the 4th string, top 3, 5th, and then play the 2nd fret on the A string, pluck it, and pull off. Again. And then the 2nd fret on the A string, pull off. Now let's try putting all of that together, starting slowly and then gradually building up the speed. Starting with the G chord, and then the hammer on to the C, and the hammer on with your 2nd finger to the D chord, the hammer on the A string, 1st finger, back to the C, and then here's the pull off, pluck, pull, back to the beginning, hammer on to the C chord, and then the hammer on the D string to the D, hammer on with your 1st finger, back to the C, and then pull off on the 2nd fret A string, and again, hammer on again, use the hammer on the A string, C, and then pull off down to G, hammer on, and then pull off down to G. So now you have an idea of how you can use the hammer-on and pull-off techniques to add interest to a simple chord progression. Practice it slowly at first and aim to repeat the pattern consistently without making mistakes, and then try experimenting and making up your own variations using all the different chords and sequences that you've learnt so far. We'll be adding to this as we progress through the step-by-step syllabus. I look forward to seeing you in lesson 8, where we'll look at naming the notes of the 6th string up to and including the 12th fret. I hope to see you then.